Grand Risings, one and all. Happy Thursday. I'm super excited to be here with you today. It is August 21st, 2025. Super excited to be here. Wanted to come and share some insight with you. It's been a fairly busy week for me, which is one of the reasons why I have not been as seenable as usual. However, today is Thursday. Thursdays are ruled by Jupiter's energy, and I thought it was fitting to come and share some insight based on the expansion we're about to experience. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Colon. I'm the founder of Holistic Fitness NY. I serve, help, transform, and hold space for women over 40, helping them to release weight without dieting. And that's emotional weight. And I give them the space to step into their courage and confidence so they can step away from their 9 to 5 and step into their soul's work. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. As a holistic personal trainer, I do blend many healing modalities into my practice to help you discover who you are from a soul level. And some of those practices look like Reiki healing, astrology, numerology, and then of course I have my own deck of cards that I work with, which is a tool that I use to help you navigate in addition to astrology. So all that being said, let's dive into the conversation for today. As I titled the conversation, we are moving into one of the biggest shifts of 2025. One of the biggest, probably the biggest shift of 2025. Now, this is about our planets, of course, and many astrologers are always talking about how this planet and this thing and this eclipse and that eclipse is like the thing, the best thing ever, and how it's going to change who we are, what we are, and how we're going to be a different version of ourselves once this is all finished. And this is exactly one of those conversations, because this energy that we're moving into today is literally the last day of Leo season. We have been let's talk Mercury for just a moment, because Mercury has been in Leo season for a hot 83 days. And that's a lot of time. Mercury, we'll be in Leo season for a hot 83 days because Mercury is still in Leo right until September 2nd, I believe. Let me just pull my calendar so I can give you the specific dates. I always like to give accurate information so we're not overwhelmed. Yes, so Mercury will be moving into Virgo on September 2nd. So that's 83 days that Mercury has spent in Leo's energy. Now that's a lot for Mercury, because Mercury doesn't spend that much time in one zodiac sign. And I say this all the time, anytime we have a planet that is spending a lot of time or a short period of time in a zodiac sign, it usually means big things are about to take place. Now, Leo, as you all know, represents big activities, big energies, big emotions, big movement, because that's what Leo is about. Out of all the zodiac signs out there, Leo is about taking big, massive steps, courageous steps for that matter. And those of you who do have your sun, moon, or ascending sign in Leo, you know exactly what I mean. Specifically those with rising signs in Leo, you know exactly what I mean, because it is about bold steps. And with Mercury being in Leo for almost 83 days, this was about massive steps that we were experiencing. Now, Mercury went retrograde in Leo and just went direct a little while ago. We're still in the shadow period, at least until next week. And it gave us an opportunity to really review the energy of Leo. Now again, what Leo is, what Leo represents. Leo is your self-expression, it's your creativity, it's your playfulness, it's trauma, it's drama. Because again, Leo being so big, we over-exaggerate things with Leo energy. And those who are Leos, again, you know what I mean, you make something that's this small into something huge, and it doesn't necessarily need to be, but anyways, that's what it is. So with Mercury being in Leo during this time, this was about really reviewing your creativity, your how you express yourself. It was also about how you showed up. And I have a mantra that many people use, which is go big or go home. And when we were in Leo season, as of today, for the very last time, until we go back into it next year, the energy of the season was about go big or go home. What big things did you get yourself into that is going to make a more explosive mark going forward? And that's this energy. So as we leave, the sun leaves Leo. Mercury eventually will leave Leo on September 2nd, moving into Virgo. We're going to be moving into Virgo season. And what that looks like is the sun will move into Virgo as of tomorrow, the 22nd. Mercury will move into Virgo as of September 2nd. And we're also going to have a very interesting energy with the moon. Two new moons for that matter. We have one that's going to come in on on August 23rd, which is actually this weekend, at 0 degrees. Now, if you know anything about astrology, you know anything about the degree marks, there's 2 points in degrees that are what we call critical degrees. And those 2 points are between 0 to 5 degrees and 25 to 29 degrees. And we're going to have 2 new moons in Virgo, which is unusual. It's very rare when we have 2 new moons in a zodiac sign within a short period of time, like let's say 4 weeks of each other. So this is, again, it means that there's something exceptional that's going to be happening for every one of us. So when we speak about Virgo's energy, Virgo's about being in service. It's about organizing your routine and your routines. It's about your schedule. It's about being more focused and looking at the small details. So it may also show up as being a perfectionist, and also sometimes as being anal about things as well. However, with our 2 new moons, one taking place on August 23rd, which is this weekend, and then the second new moon taking place September 21st at 29 degrees. Both of these energies are significant in regards to your service. What is your service? How are you serving? How are you serving others? Now, many of you may have what I call a 9 to 5, and maybe you took on a 9 to 5 job with what I like to call the 3D energy of thinking that was the way to survive. And if anything that we have learned back in 2020 is that you can lose your 9 to 5 like that. And many of you might actually get to experience that during this next 6 weeks with this Virgo season that's taking place. Because smack in the middle of both of these new moons, between the 23rd of August and September 21st, new moons, those 2 new moons in Virgo, we are going to experience a full moon in Pisces, which is a lunar eclipse. Now, a little bit about moons, the full moon for that matter, when we're in eclipse season. What that really means is the moon itself is on steroids, which means the energy of that moon is explosive, powerful. Full moons are about letting things go. New moons are about inviting new things in. So what you may experience during this lunar eclipse full moon in Pisces, you may experience this connection with your intuition. Now, in addition to our 2 new moons in Virgo, the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, make note that right between all that, we're also going to experience on September 1st, Saturn, the planet known for restructuring, restricting your foundation. It's about boundary setting, and it's also about karmic resets, which is, by the way, retrograde in this very moment in Aries, which is resetting your I am statement. And I'm sure many of you are feeling that. You're probably reviewing who you are, why you're here, and what you're supposed to be doing. So once Saturn backspins into Pisces on September 1st, and will be there till February 13th, people, well, what is going to take place? Why is this such a big deal? because this is the biggest shift of our life for 2025. So if you are still in a 9 to 5 and it's not serving your most highest purpose, because this is about your purpose, people. This is about your purpose. This is about your agreements. This is about what you and God set down before you were born and discussed what you were going to be doing here on earth. Every one of us has a specific purpose for why we're here. And if up until now you've decided that you wanted a 9 to 5 job, maybe it's a job you got when you came out of high school, or maybe it was something you moved into when you were in college, and you thought, well, this is going to be the thing that's going to keep me in good standards and help me financially be stabilized. And that job does not serve your highest purpose, be prepared to get woken up. Be prepared to get woken up. And what does that look like, to be woken up? Well, chaos. Be prepared to be uncomfortable. Be prepared to be annoyed. Be prepared to just be fussy. Because when something is not aligned with your most highest purpose, it doesn't fill you up. It doesn't feed your passion. Because it's not feeding your purpose. What is feeding is your 3D mindset of your materialistic lifestyle. I think Madonna said it best in her song what was the song? Material World. I think that two of the most greatest singers out there, and there's many, but I'm just going to note two right now. Madonna with her Material World song, and Michael Jackson with The Man in the Mirror. If you really go back and listen to the words in those songs, there's a huge, powerful message that really is aligned to where we are right now. Excuse me. In this world where we are right now, where everything that we are looking at and looking at us, every person we're connecting to is a mirror of us. It's a reflection. Just like Michael Jackson's song, The Man in the Mirror. So when you're looking at someone and you like something about what that person's doing, that's a reflection of you. Of either you're doing that or something that you're supposed to be doing. If there's something about that person that irritates you, that's a reflection of you. Why does it irritate you? Something to think about. And then when you think about, if you listen to Material World from Madonna, and I think that's the title of the song, that really is about the 3D energy that so many people live on. And I think that we are supposed to be in this 3D materialistic world of like survival, as opposed to striving. And this energy that we're about to move into, this big massive shift that's about to happen for the next 6 weeks with Virgo season, is really going to wake us up in reference to, are you in service? What is your service? What are you willing to do? What can you do? What can you do? What do you have to offer as a service? Because ideally, that's really what you want to be stepping into. You want to step out of working for someone and possibly making them rich, and start to step into your richness by stepping into your passion and purpose. And that's what the season's about as we move more into service. Doing what it is you so love to do. So ask yourself, what is that thing that lights you up? And that you literally can offer that to somebody. What is that thing? What is that thing? Because that's the thing that you're going to want to start doing more of, and literally start offering it to people as a service. And when I use the word service, that means yes, you're going to be paid for your service. So when we think about this energy we have right now, planetarily speaking, with both Jupiter and Venus, in Cancer energy at this very moment, Venus is all about your worth. What do you feel your service is worth? It's not about what your time is worth, as much about what your service is worth. Now, you may end up going back and thinking about it and like, well, I had to do X amount of hours, like studying, workshops, lectures, blah, 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 that got you to where you are in your service. So you want to account for all of that, and then your actual service that you do, and what is that worth for you? What is your energy worth to you? Because that's really what this is. A service that you're offering, that you're providing your energy in. So it really is, during this time, this big shakeup that we're going to go through for the next 6 weeks with this big shift. This is really about evaluating your worth. What are you worth? This is about raising your bar so you can be worthy. Moving into your service. So you can value yourself. And then upon valuing you, you will then begin to appreciate and value others based on the service they bring to the table. So at this point in time, the real thing that you want to be thinking about is, what do you have to offer as a service, as opposed to working a 9 to 5, stepping away from your 9 to 5. Because I will almost guarantee you that as we move into 2026, 2027, 2028, business is going to be very different. There was going to be less businesses to work for, because you're going to be working for you. There'll be more entrepreneurships available for you as an entrepreneur, as we're moving more into service-oriented positions, the service you offer. So you can begin to set the stage of creating the freedom you want in your life. So if you want to have freedom of time, you can't have freedom of time if you're working a 9 to 5. Because now you're at the mercy of your job to show up to work. Whereas working for you as an entrepreneur, you get to decide how many days a week you want to work, how many hours a day do you want to work, how many clients do you want to see, and how much time do you want to play. Because that's what's important. That's the freedom line. Now, again, a big part of this process is evaluating what you want your income to be. So if you do want to have a 6-figure income in your service, and you only want to work, let's say 4 days a week, 4 hours a day, what does that income have to look like for you? And then what is your value that you're going to charge so you can earn that income? Because you're going to get to create this. And that's what the season of Virgo season is all about. Is learning to honor your own value, and learning that it's okay that if you want to charge, I'm going to draw out a odd number that may feel odd for some but very common for others. Let's say you do want to charge $1,000 for a 60-minute session. You charge $1,000 for a 60-minute session. And let's say you see 4 clients in that one day. That's $4,000 you're making for that one day of your service. And you do that 4 days a week. You do the math. And if you're doing that 4 days a week at $1,000 an hour, and you see 4 clients, you do the math at the end of your month. You do the math. Now, it's only impossible when you think it's impossible, because then that means you have a limited mindset and you don't value the service you bring to the table, so you don't think you're worth that dollar amount. And this again is where we're really going to play a big role here. This is where our planets are going to really come together. Excuse me. When we think about Virgo season, I want to introduce you to Chiron. Chiron's an asteroid, and Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And wherever you have Chiron on your chart, and we all have it, whatever zodiac sign Chiron is in, whatever house it's in, that's where your wound is at. And because Chiron rules Virgo's energy, this is a big component to the season in reference to your wound that you have regarding your worth of your service. So I really want you to think about this for a minute. And then I want you to I'm going to add one more piece to this. When we think about Aries energy, Aries is the leader, the boss, your I am statement. Now, currently we have Neptune and Saturn in Aries as we speak. Neptune will be in Aries for the next 14 years. It will backspin into Pisces for a little bit, but then come back to Aries and spend the rest of its time there. Neptune is about your spiritual evolution. Neptune is going to help every one of us take our mask off and become more authentic. Be more true to ourselves. And then we have Saturn in Aries up until September 1st, and then it's going to backspin into Pisces. And what Saturn in Aries is helping us with is to restructure our I am statement. Who are you in your service? Not who are you at your 9 to 5. Who are you in your service? Now, I work with a lot of women, men too, where they have it a little backwards. Where they have a 9 to 5 job, and then after their 9 to 5 job, they come home and they sit in their so-called service, their purpose, as what they call their side hustle. Your purpose was not created for it to be a side hustle. Your purpose was created for it to be your purpose, which is your main process of how you service. I'm going to say that again. Your purpose was not designed for it to be your side hustle. It was designed for it to be your purpose. Where you do, that's where all of your energy should be. You should not be sitting in a 9 to 5, exerting all your energy there, and then by the time you get home after your 9 to 5, you barely have enough energy to sit in your purpose. Because after spending all those hours in your 9 to 5, you are now drained. You have no energy. And I've worked with many people that actually work this way, where they have a 9 to 5 because they don't trust their purpose to provide for them. And this is real talk. So if you're that person, this might be hitting a nerve, and that's okay. You're not trusting your purpose to provide for you. So you decided you needed a 9 to 5 to have that little extra cash, or that so-called security of knowing that you're getting a check every week or every other week, because you become reliant on that false security. And the reality of it all is, in this next 6 weeks, as we go through this massive shift, you may be one of those people that the rug is going to be pulled from under you, and then what? You're going to have to rely on your purpose that you've been doing as a side hustle. And yeah, you may be one of those people that's going to try, you know what, I'm going to see if I can go and get a job again in that same industry that the rug was pulled from under me, which is, again, another mistake most humans make, is that when that door of that industry closes on you, it's not meant for you to go back and open it again. It really is meant for you to find a different direction. But so many of us aren't trusting the process. And again, like I say, I work with many people, and I work with women who sit in faith, and they tell me that they pray, yet they're still not trusting their process. So And your process was created through God. So God gave you this purpose. God gave you this purpose for you to be in prosperity, not to have it as a side hustle. So it's time that we start trusting the very process that we're in the very service we're here to offer. And come away from these 9 to 5s that are not serving you at all. Now, grant you, there's a reason and a place for a 9 to 5. We all start somewhere in a 9 to 5 for a little while. Maybe we need the experience. Like when I first started in my industry, going back when I was 15, I learned how to do sales. I learned how to manage. I learned how to work with people. I learned how to do orientations. I learned all of that. And I took all of that I learned in my industry and I applied it to my service. So I didn't need necessarily to have a 9 to 5. I just needed the tools that I learned. Now the idea is to know when to step away from the 9 to 5 once you have your tools. Now if you are now in your 40s and your 50s and you're still working with a 9 to 5, I'm sure by now you have your tools. You're just not trusting your process. And you're not trusting your purpose. And you've drained yourself from your passion. And that's really what this is really all about. When we think about this energy we're in right now, that we're moving into with Virgo season, with 2 new moons in Virgo. Oh my God. Virgo. Now, out of all the zodiac signs out there, just like I said with Leo, Leo's about going big or going home. That's Leo's energy. It's the only zodiac sign that is really about that. Virgo is the only zodiac sign that really represents service. Service. What are you here to serve? How are you here to serve? What is your service? And once you really understand what your service is, then it's really getting into the fine points of defining who do you serve? Who do you serve? Do you serve men? Do you serve women? Do you serve children? What age category do you serve? Now, in my industry for over 4 decades, I have served pretty much every population. I've worked with children. I've worked with seniors. I've done I've done post-rehab exercising. I've done nutrition. I've done group fitness. I've done sales. So I've worked with pretty much every population, men, women, and children. Right now, my big niche are women over 40 and really helping them to work on releasing the emotional weight that they do carry. And notice I said emotional weight that they do carry without the focus of dieting. So that's my niche. That's who I work with. So if that is you, then you know right off the bat that that's what I do. That's who I serve. That's who I serve. The pain point that I help you with, so you can feel good, is that you feel better in your body. You gain confidence. You gain the confidence to be able to walk away from a 9 to 5 job. You gain the skills that you can step into your service, whatever that service is. That's the pain point. Doesn't matter how I really get you there. It's a matter that I'm going to help you with your pain point. So you can feel better in your own body. Confident in your own body. And that you can come away from all of these old beliefs and conditioning that you've been programmed to believe for so many years like myself. And really focus on what's really important. And that really is about feeling good in your own skin. Showing up and feeling good in your own skin. And once you feel good in your own skin and you're building that stronger foundation and you really have it like concrete to what your service is, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. And that's where the passion comes in, because now you're going to wake up every morning feeling joyful, excited, and ready to go because you love what you do and you love you. And those are 2 powerful things to fall in love with. Falling in love with you and falling in love with what you do. Because if you're not loving you and you don't love what you do, that's disaster. And there's a lot of women out there that don't love themselves. They don't value themselves. And they have no idea how they're serving. So right off the bat, they wake up in the morning and they're feeling drained already. After 6 or 8 hours or 9 hours of sleep, they wake up and they're like, oh my God. So this energy that we're in, moving into for the next 6 weeks with Virgo season, 2 new moons in Virgo, this lunar eclipse Pisces energy, and there's so much more coming in with this energy. It's not just about the Virgo Pisces season. It really is about the Saturn retrograde spinning back into Pisces, that when you think about it, I want you to go back a minute. I want you to sort of like rewind. Go back to 2023. Because that's when Saturn entered Pisces and stayed there for 2.5 years. What was going on in your life as of March 7th, 2023 to current date? What big significant things were happening? How is your foundation being restructured? What was going on in your life? What changed in your life? Now, if you've been following me, you're going to see that there's a huge mirror going on for me based on this energy, because back in 2023, well, back in 2022, I closed down my storefront of 22 years of being in a storefront for my business. I transitioned my business from a storefront where I saw clients face-to-face to a virtual service, where now I get to work with clients face-to-face, and I get to work with women all over the world. And in 2023, not only did I, in 2022 did I close my storefront, but 2023 I moved into a different home. So I really want you to go back and think about what was going on in your life as of March 7th of 2023 through the 2.5 years. Because that's what the Saturn retrograde in Pisces is going to bring up for you. Unfinished business, or gives you an opportunity to see what you learned during that time. So this is why I labeled today's conversation. This is a huge, huge movement of a shift that's coming in that is going to shake you up, wake you up, and hopefully put you in more in alignment to what you are here to do as your service. How are you serving? Who are you serving? What are you serving? Playing a big role of your worth, your value. Now, of course, as I always say, if you need support, if you're not really sure what your service is, I can help you with that. Now, I just did a live just the other day talking about how we as humans use our GPS on our phones to get us from one place to the other, whether we're using the Google GPS or the Waze GPS to help us navigate when we're driving or walking so we can get to where we have to get to in a timely manner. Yet, not many people are using their own personal GPS known as their astrology chart. Your astrology chart is literally your GPS that was literally created, again, between you and God. You and God sat down and discussed the agreements that you are here to work on, those lessons that you're working on right now as we speak. And in your natal chart, that's going to give you all the information on how to navigate through this time that we're in right now. There are certain placements on your chart that will literally tell you what your service is. There's certain placements on your chart that literally tells you how to be successful. There's certain placements on your chart that will let you know whether or not you're going to come down with an illness. There's certain placements on your chart that gives you insight to the relationships you have with your parents, your children, and your friends. There's certain placements on your chart that's going to let you know when it's time to travel. All this is in your chart. Learn to self-discover. Learn to discover who you are from a soul level. So this way here, you will spend more time doing what you love and less time doing what drains you. Because it really is about the passion and purpose that's going to bring you the joy. Because if you are doing something throughout most of your day that is not filling you up, it's draining you. It's leaving you empty. You don't have time for nothing. And we were not born to hustle and bustle. We were born to live in prosperity, to have fun, have joy, and live in freedom. So I'm going to leave it there. If you would like to do some work with me, if you would like to look at your astrology chart so you can self-discover, please reach out. I'm available for readings, and we can look at, obviously, your Virgo placements. We can look at where Pisces is, and we can look at where Saturn is, and get a general idea to, or not a general, but a specific idea to what the next 6 weeks is going to look like for you, and how this energy is really going to change who you are, that by the time we do move into 2026, I'm hoping for you, you are going to be a very different version of yourself, and possibly in a different position as well. And that you'll no longer be working a 9 to 5. And that you'll really be in your service. And serving on your time. All that being said, reach out to me if you need my support. I'm here for you. And reach out if you're looking to restructure your physical body so you can be a stronger version of yourself as well. Remember, the W in holistics about the whole person, so it's not just about losing weight. In fact, it's not about losing weight at all. I don't want you to lose any weight. I need you to hold on to your weight because you need to be strong. You need to have a strong foundation. It's about reshaping your weight. It's about releasing the emotional weight that you don't need to carry anymore. You can put those bags down and lighten the load up and move more into your passion and purpose over the next 6 weeks. I'll see you later.